Hello, today's lesson is lesson 18, multiplying three factors and missing factors. So here I want to find the product of 6 times 3 times 5. To multiply three factors, we first multiply the two of the factors, and then we multiply the product we get with that by the third one, okay? All right, so there's two ways I can solve this. The first way is I can do 6 times 3. I know 6 times 3 equals 18. And then I can multiply that times 5. So I can do 18 times 5. So 5 times 8 is 40. Carry my 4. And then 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9. So my answer is 90. The other way I can do this is I can find what two numbers multiply the easiest. So I can change this with the commutative property and do 6 times 5 times 3. Because I know that 6 times 5 equals 30. So then I have 30 times 3. Well, in my head I can think 3 times 3 is 9, and then I have a 0 left over. So my answer is 90. Okay. All right, on this one it says, show how to rearrange the factors to more easily find the answer to 5 times 7 times 12. Well, it's easiest to find a multiple to multiply numbers that end in a 0, okay, or the product will end in a 0, okay? So if I multiply 5 times 7 first, that would be 35, and then I'd have to multiply that by 12, which I don't know how to do yet. So I'm going to do 5 times 12 first, and then multiply it by 7, because I know that 5 times 12 equals 60. So now I can do 60 times 7. So let's do that. Okay, so 7 times 0 is 0, and then 7 times 6 is 42. So my answer is 420. All right, so here we have my problem. How many blocks were used to build this shape? Well, I can count all the blocks, or I can multiply three numbers. I can see that the top layer has 2 rows of 3 blocks. 2 rows, and there's 3 blocks. Okay. So I know that there are 2 times 3 blocks on the top layer. Okay, and I know that there has to be 2 times 3 blocks in the second layer as well. Since I have 2 layers, that means I can do 2 times 3 times 2. So 2 times 3 is 6, and then 6 times 2 is 12. Okay, so this shape was built with 12 blocks. All right, so the last part of this lesson is on finding the missing factor. So in the first problem, we have W times 3 equals 18. Before we start, we have to understand what each equation means. In A, we mean some number times 3 equals 18. In B, we have 3n, or 3 times n equals 24. And on the last one, if I multiply 6 times 5, I end up with 30. So I know that 30 equals 3 times y. And this was 3 times n equals 24. Okay, so there are multiple ways we can do this. One, we can count how many 3's add up to equal 18, or I can use a multiplication table. So let's use a multiplication table. Okay, so I know that we're going to look at the 3's column. And I know that something times 3 equals 18. So I'm going to go down the column until I find the number 18. There it is. Then I'm going to follow that to the left and find my row. So I can see that 6 times 3 equals 18. So W has to equal 6. Okay, let's try for the next problem. So we have 3 times n equals 24. So starting with 3, we're going to follow it until I get to the 24. And then we'll follow it to the left, and I can see that 3 times 8 equals 24. So n equals 8. And on the last one, we have 3 times y equals 30. So we're going to take the 3 and follow it till we get to the 30, and then follow it to the left to see that 3 times 10 equals 30. So y equals 10. Okay, and that's it for this lesson. Good luck on your homework.